Hello everyone, it's Uriel again. I've had a bit of a relapse with my sore throat, unfortunately, so you're gonna just have to bear with me, unfortunately. This week I've created some creatures with my two nephews. So, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Jacob and I'm 6 years old.
Do you want to tell us what you were drawing in this picture?
A weird animal it's a tarantula body with 1,000 eyes and a scorpion tail and 1,000 legs.
And do you want to tell them about what sort of other bits that are on the creature? So there, look, you can see what you're drawing.
A big machine gun on its back.
On its tail.
It's telling me.
Yeah. And then what were all them little circles that you were drawing?
All the little circles are little eyes.
And what else? What are you drawing there?
The body parts of the inside.
And what are those triangular bits that you're drawing?
That's the beards. The spikes on the face.
And then the beard.
And then they've drawn the beard with a little baby one that's the same but a bit smaller, with 3 legs only. But a different colour though, because I was about to draw it soon. So, on the head of the weird animal, it's got a load of eyes and it's got a grey beard at the front with grey eyes, a load, like 1,000, and it's got an orange face with some kind of lines on it, and on the legs it's got green and the legs are grey, and it's got brown and purple on the inside of the body, and it shoots scorpion the end of the tip bits, and there's a little one that, and under the tails it shoots out the scorpion sharp bits on the tail, the pointy bits, and one of the bits on the front bit of the big little one, it's got dark green. On the legs, with the 3 legs on it, it's got light green.
Right, so this is my drawing. I sketched it out on a piece of the Strathmore drawing sketchbook. I've gone with virtually as much of the drawing that Jacob did to be able to make the creature. I really went with it. The things that they were saying when they were both sitting drawing was something I should have noted down, because it was absolutely brilliant, some of the things that they were saying about the creatures that they were designing. Jacob's initial idea was that it was some sort of spider scorpion creature. We'd done a bit of a practice run the week before we recorded the actual video, and his initial thing was that it was going to be a spider, like a black widow spider, with a big scorpion tail and a machine gun. And I just think that it's so wild. I mean, I just, once I started doing this challenge with them, I just remember thinking, oh my God, I don't know what it is that I'm going to end up drawing, because they just sort, I think it's brilliant how kids go around and they just have these like really random thoughts about things, like putting this machine gun on this creature. It was so funny. And you can see I've just drawn the smaller one underneath it, and when I showed him the picture, he was like, but it should be next to it. It shouldn't be underneath the big one. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realise that bit was so important that it had to sit next to it. It was actually quite funny how much criticism I got from both of them for the drawings that I did in the end. And then when it came to doing the voiceover parts for their takes on what they thought my drawing was like compared to their own. They were absolutely ripping them to shreds. um, they're so funny, both of them. He also commented that because the spikes should have been around the top of the head, going from like ear to ear rather than down the middle of the face. He had very strong views about that, as well as the hairy knees, because he wanted to have a beard on his like scorpion, and he and so I just thought, right, well, there must be other hairy parts. It can't just have like a beard. So I did sort of originally think about putting like a full hairy body to it and stuff. But then when I started doing the initial sketches of it and putting the hairy body all over it, it just sort of lost its scorpionness, if that's a word. I just thought, oh, where the joints at the knees are, I'll do like a hairy part there, like hairy elbows or whatever. And he had a really strong view on how the scorpion wouldn't have hairy knees. Why would the scorpion have hairy knees? And my initial thought was to just say to him, well, what sort of a scorpion has a machine gun coming out the end of its tail? Or what sort of scorpion has a beard? Although there probably is one, so if there is one and you know about it, please do leave a comment, because I'd be quite interested to see if there's a scorpion that has a beard of some sort. I tried to keep to the colour palette as much as I could from the original drawings that the kids had done. And that was controversial as well, because I didn't pick the right colours, apparently. It was quite funny, considering that they're only 6 and 4. They both have really strong opinions about things, and I just think it's absolutely brilliant. And I really, really wish that I'd have actually caught their first initial responses to what they thought the drawings were like. I, I did actually intend on doing that, but I didn't in the end. I ended up showing them as beforehand on my like a picture that I'd taken on the phone for when I was going to post it on Instagram. So I showed them, and they were all like, but this is wrong and that's wrong, and why has he got hairy knees, and that machine gun, why is the machine gun black when I did it silver? And I was like, hang on a minute. So I really, really wish I'd got that. It was absolutely brilliant, and it would have made a brilliant, brilliant part of the video. But unfortunately, I didn't. I actually really loved drawing this picture. It was like something that is completely out of my repertoire. I don't normally do animals. It's usually figure drawing that I'll do, so portraits and full figure characters and stuff. But yeah, it was like completely out of my comfort zone. And especially it being an insect, because if I do draw an animal, it's usually some sort of vertebrate animal. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And it took ages. The colouring of this scorpion, it just took forever. And it's because there's all different nooks and crannies, and I just really went with it, and I'm just really pleased with how this drawing came out. And I might do some sort of creature designs. I know that there are other artists on Instagram and on YouTube that do like animal mashups and stuff, and I just see where they get their passion from for it now, because drawing this one, it was just so much fun because it was so different and so weird. And what I might do actually is get the kids to describe some sort of creature, how they think it should look, and then draw it as from what they say, because a lot of this creature was that what Jacob was saying while he was drawing it. And so I think that I should maybe just get them to describe a creature to me and then draw it. No doubt they'll have plenty of comments, critiques about what it is that I've done and what they thought it should be, and but you know, I think that their standards must just be very, very high, and my artistry is just not up to creating what they imagine. And it's really weird because it's like I don't even know where they get these ideas from. It was like when Zach was drawing his and he was saying, yeah, it's a zombie. And I know where they got the zombie from, because they really like zombies and they've liked zombies forever. And, they'll go out in the garden with my dad and shoot imaginary zombies and kill them with their lightsabers and stuff like that. And they've done that for years. So I got it. But then when he was saying that his beard's made of grass and his lips are sewn up and things like that, it's really imaginative, and it just really makes me really interested in how their minds work. And I know Zach, he often talks about, this is Zach, he's in Zach's world, and he probably loves it because it's like full of zombies and vampires and he gets to go around and shoot them all and stuff. And whereas if we were in his world, we'd probably all be, have our hair would just instantly turn white out of fear and stuff. We'd all just be blibbering wrecks because of what goes on. But yeah, they're absolutely brilliant, both of them, with their imagination. And because I always thought that I was quite imaginative, but I seem to have I must have lost my imagination when or it seems to be ebbing away as I get older. And because the way that they just come up with things is just amazing. I mean, when I did the initial, we did the practice drawing the week before when they came over, and Jacob's hasn't really changed much, but I know Zach's did. He'd done a full scene. There was about 6 people on his drawing, and they were all zombies and stuff. So he did go back and he did draw a zombie, but it was just a headshot of a zombie. And another comment that Jacob gave me was, why does the little one have a spike and why doesn't he have the gun? And I said, well, you didn't draw a gun on that one, so I just assumed it was a spike because he was a scorpion. And he said, no, it was retracted because it was reloading. I mean, where did he get that from? I mean, talk about being able to answer, lightning fast wit and stuff. It's absolutely brilliant. Here I just wanted to finish it off. My characters and most of my art usually have some sort of background, not background as such, but some sort of coloured shape, so just to make the character pop a bit more rather than it just having a white paper background. And this was another thing that they commented on. Why has it got a blue background? Why does it have one? I was like, oh, sorry. I'm so sorry about that. I chose blue just purely because it was one of the only colours that I hadn't used actually in the creature design. So, and it's a colour that I don't get to use very often. It is one of my very first Copics. A friend bought me 12 Copics, all random colours. Apart from, no, there was a 6-pack of blending, I think it was primary tones, and then another 6 sort of random pens. And the B00 was one of the very, very first one. It was part of the primary blending set. And I never ever get to use it. And and I have just bought a refill for it, and I think that's maybe why I didn't use it, because it had run out so quickly, because it was one of the first ones that I'd ever used, and it was literally one of the only blues that I owned at the time. But yeah, this picture I really, really enjoyed, and let me know what you think about which was the best. Was it mine or Jacob's? I know what Jacob would say. Even though at the end he does do at the end of the video, I've got his thoughts and reactions, but they are his real reactions, and I really wish I'd got his real reactions, because they were priceless, absolutely priceless. So I'll just let you all watch until the end. It's just highlights and outlines and stuff, and then we'll see Zach's drawing. Hello.
My name's Zaki, and I've been drawing a zombie called Ian, and I'm 4, and I like drawing,
And what's the zombie doing?
crying,
Why is he crying?
when I got hit,
He got hit. What else has he got?
got smacked,
What's the green?
the green is mustache,
His moustache and his beard.
yeah,
And what about his ears? What colour are his ears?
blue.
His ears are blue.
And I like to draw it, is that Jake on my head?
That's your head. That's you drawing.
Well, Jake.
Right, so just like Jacob's drawing, I spent hours, not as long to be honest with this one, because it was like more my thing. It was a character drawing, really, more than a creature. But I sort of knew that bits that I wanted for it, and I know that how he described in his voiceover, there was no talking really about the ears. He told me while he was drawing it that they had to have elephant ears, and that his beard was made of grass and stuff like that, and he was just like Jacob. He had very strong opinions about mine. It didn't look enough like his. It wasn't crying enough. And it was too blue. And why has it got funny ears? And I said, because you told me it had elephant ears. And he was like, no, it has just big ears. I was like, oh, okay. And this is another point where I nearly went back to the video clip of when he was drawing it, just to find when he said that it had elephant ears, because I know for a fact he said it. But he was absolutely adamant that it was that he hadn't said elephant ears. But I'm not going to argue with him because, 4-year-olds can argue for Britain, right? He liked the fact that I'd left the eyes white because I did actually half expect him to say, well, why didn't you do something with the eyes? But he didn't. He didn't, so I was quite pleased with it. I always really enjoy when I'm doing a character that has a different coloured skin. Rather than earth tones, the browns, the beiges, the pinks and stuff like that. And I really need to get some more of the blue-green Copics because I only have about 6. And I absolutely love them. They must be like some of my favourite pens, but to be honest, I barely get a chance to use them. But I really, really like them, and so I need to get some more. I think maybe what threw him off when he was looking at this one was the fact that I sort of tried to keep the ears a similar tone to the skin, being like bluey greeny tones. And I hadn't done them grey because I think he would just assume that elephants' ears are grey, right? Because elephants are grey. But yeah, I love the fact that he'd said that, he had stitches over his mouth and stuff like that. I thought it was just so weird coming out of a 4-year-old's mouth, the fact that his mouth was sewn up. So I don't know what he's seen or that he's thought, it's a really good idea to stitch somebody's mouth up. God knows. The beard, that was like a last minute thing for him. I remember him saying when we were doing the initial practice that his character had a beard. A lot of it is I think both of them, because they've both said that it has a beard, their character has beards, is because my brother's got a really long beard and they actually think he's some sort of pirate, I'm sure. So I think that's why both of their characters have beards, and occasionally I do grow one out. Just laziness on my part. The spots and stuff that I was doing there, they weren't pink enough for Zach, because the ones that he did were almost like a fuchsia pink colour, and he was like, well, why didn't you do the spots? Why didn't you do the spots? And I was like, well, I did do the spots. They're like those pink ones there, look. And he was like, oh, no, they're not pink enough. I'm like, all right. I won't argue because, you can't ever win an argument with him. He's quite the character. They've both always got an answer. It's brilliant. They're so witty and quick. I tried to do like a paley, orangey, yellowy sort of background and tried to get the gradient. I tried to do like a gradient, but I struggled. I think it's because a lot of my markers are starting to dry up and I need to get some more inks and stuff, but yeah, I really struggled to blend these, and they're so similar. The colours are so similar, and I don't know why I struggled so much. But this one I was quite pleased with as well. It's something that's like completely out of, completely out of sensibility. Really, it's something that's really bizarre, but it was more in my comfort zone as far as like the fact that it's humanoid. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one as well. I didn't enjoy it as much as I did the other creature because that one was completely different. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. So I'll let you watch until I finish drawing this one, and then we'll hear the boys' reactions to it. So, Jacob, tell me what you think about my drawing of your drawing.
It is awesome because it's got loads of details. The details are awesome.
And is it as good as you thought it'd be, or isn't it as good, or...
It will be as good that I think it would be.
Brilliant. So, Zach, what do you think of my drawing of your drawing?
I don't know.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
What's your favourite bit about it?
No more time.
The moustache and beard. Well, I've only done a beard, but yeah. So you like the beard? And do you think I got the colours right? Yeah? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Right, everybody say goodbye to the YouTube.
Bye.